then we'll start.
So you should have clicked. Stream. You should have clicked play like 5 seconds ago, Caden. That's a test. Nice. Didn't move a muscle. Well played. Well played.
Okay. It's sounding good, I think. It's all looking good.
Okay, cool. The interesting part will be how when I start playing YouTube, because I don't know if the YouTube will come through the same audio track as us or its own. And we might be mixed in a little bit into the YouTube audio track, if that makes sense.
It does, but surely just turning YouTube down on the page shouldn't affect our volume.
It's like it's the OBS audio for the YouTube display capture. It's kind of capturing us as well. Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Well, I reckon it wouldn't hurt for the YouTube video to just be really quiet, if not muted. You know, which if it's a source should just turn down from the web page without affecting us. If I'm understanding you right, because it's capturing the whole window on OBS.
Well, it's capturing the whole my monitor, and then I've got individual captures for the YouTube and the Discord. But because the Discord and the YouTube are both on the same monitor, they're both using the same outputs and inputs. So technically, I feel like if I were to unmute that track, we'd come through a little bit as well. But like you said, it's not a big deal if we just turn subtitles on anyway, and I should be able to hear it with no issues.
Yeah.
So what have we got? We've got the subtitles on. Cool. All right, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to blow.
Okay. All right, I'll just do a quick intro. Hi, everyone. We're about to start watching the Xbox Partner Preview, October 17th. 25 minutes of partner games for Xbox. All right, everybody ready?
Yeah. Let's do it.
3, 2, 1, go.
Nice.
Fucking did it, boys.
We did.
So easy. So easy.
I keep coming back to this page.
This Remedy.
The author's clearly awake. It's like he's warning us. But about what? I mean, what does it mean?
There's a crack in the lake house.
I think it's the lake house one.
The Marmots had let
already
the lake in.
This is Agent Kieran Estevez responding to an AWE alert in the vicinity. I need to speak with the Marmots.
But the water could not flow.
Ominous music playing.
Stagnant. The pressure kept building. Looking for release.
I really regret not getting this game when it was on sale last month.
Dude. Absolutely fantastic.
It was like 20% off, and I was like, I can do better! And I waited.
I mean, 10% isn't great.
Oh, is that not what's it called? I think from Control.
I thought it was Control when they teased it before. It looked Control-like. Yeah, it definitely is Control with the color palette. Control related.
What's the name of the agency again?
I don't remember.
October 22nd. That's fucking next week.
Oh, nice.
I swear they always do that. They just like release stuff like really quick. They like show it and they're like, it's out.
Yeah. Federal Bureau of Control.
You 100% did Alan Wake 2, Caden, or have I made that up? Yeah.
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
No, I meant as in like got all Chivos and stuff.
I think I missed out on one of the dolls or something, but otherwise, yeah.
Okay.
Bloober. Got a lot to say about Bloober. What's this? Silent Hill 2. It's the guys who did Silent Hill 2 remake.
Oh, okay.
They're a team that get a lot of criticism for all of their games, and eventually everybody gave up, and then they made Silent Hill 2, and everyone was like, "Oh right, you guys can make a like a good game. They also did like Layers of Fear, and
That was okay.
other one.
Layers of Fear was alright.
Yeah, and that's the response to most of their games. It's like,
Yeah.
it's okay.
It's saying our YouTube's not really responding at the moment, Deck. I don't know if that's legit or not, because I'm showing all green from my end. So I don't really know what that's about.
We've got like a little bit of chugging going on, but it's fine. It's very watchable.
Okay. Which is weird, because I'm greens all round, right? Connection-wise. It's OBS is saying it should be performing just as well as it always is.
I think the refresh rate is just a little bit down, but it's really fine. What is this? This is a new IP from Bluebird.
Yeah, it looks cool. Cool aesthetic, like sci-fi horror.
Give me kind of Dead Space vibes and Callisto Protocol vibes.
Then he punches the granny. Oh. Oh.
Wait, he's setting up to punch her.
What's that? Leave her alone. Was she an alien? Is that the implication? Oh.
That's an old game, isn't it? Kronos?
Kronos the New Dawn.
I don't think so.
That
I don't.
sounds familiar. They mentioned another game.
The fact that it's called the New Dawn, I mean, maybe. It's good though. Coming out next week on Game Pass, day one.
It's pretty
Wasn't much
cool.
gameplay.
No, but
Just walking and
sci-fi
it just
horror, why not?
dropped.
Tim Blue also did the Blair Witch and the Medium, which is that launch game for the Xbox.
yeah.
If you remember it.
Yeah, I do. I thought Blair Witch actually did okay. I think that was quite averagely reviewed.
Medium was again. Medium was alright as well.
The game come out have always just come out at 070, so they're good. They're like perfectly serviceable games.
I
They
thought
just
the
never, like,
medium did a
quite
bit
are
worse
great.
though. Wasn't that like 60s? Low 60s?
Medium was
Maybe.
alright. Medium was fine. I enjoyed it.
Pew, pew.
But they always have good like concept stuff. Like
Yeah.
I always like their ideas.
Is this VR? This has tripped me out.
Yeah, this is freaking me out.
This is Perfect Dark.
Oh my god! This is the new Halo, isn't it?
It's just an arena shooter. Blind.
It won't be VR because Xbox doesn't have a
It
VR
just look
platform.
weird. Isn't
It's
none
the
of
card
games
killer.
look real.
Okay.
Oh my god, that logo looks just like Fragpunk.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the one about the
Yeah.
cards?
They look very
I mean,
similar.
it's in early access, which is interesting.
Blind Fire.
Is this Pirate Yakuza, whatever it's called?
Or is it a crab's treasure? it's
No,
Pirate.
yeah, Caden's right. I'm pretty sure this is.
Oh, I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It's got a really dumb name.
These are the JRPGs I just can't like. I don't know.
They're not JRPG, they have another name for it. It's like it's a type of RPG.
Stupid.
What are you, fucking RPG?
Well, no, because no, it's not a JRPG. It's some name for it.
A KRPG.
No.
My
I
man's
should
pulled
probably
up
try one
a.
of these games one day.
My man's pulled up a new tab because he just flashbanged
Yeah,
himself.
it's fucking bright in it. I also don't care for Yakuza either, so I can skip it away.
Yeah, I do not care for these games. I get it. They're very popular for whatever reason, but my goodness, do I never want to play these?
Why?
I don't know. There's just something so unappealing about them. They're so wacky and crazy, and then the combat's always like, I don't know. It's kind of like Dynasty Warriors, but like lower scale, just mashing, and it's weird.
Then you
I mean,
don't
look at
like that,
this.
actually. I get it.
What do you mean? This is just like God of War.
It's not RPG. What's it called?
It's literally called Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii.
Yeah, I was close, wasn't I? Yeah.
They're just funny. They're funny games. You're the sort of person who doesn't like funny games.
I guess.
Is that what you say? Unless it's fucking farting in class.
Let's go.
Hell yeah. That is it. Let's go. Well, actually, I think it might be.
Be what?
Might be what? Cuphead, yeah.
It's mouse, the first person.
Nah, it'd be that mouse game, yeah, maybe.
Damn. I thought we were finally getting Cuphead online co-op.
Yeah, it is.
Cuphead 3.
I think it's called mouse, isn't it?
Game looks so fucking cool.
This game looks insane, dude. I love it.
Well, it's a whole like 2D animation in 3D. It looks so.
Like, I actually love this.
It's
I'm
also-
gonna play the Shadows.
So just the effect of the guns, like what do they call it? It's like rubber banding, isn't it? You know, when stuff like wob 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 wob.
Yeah.
It just look great.
Wait, because
Yeah. Who needs fuck Doom the Dark Ages? This is where I'm at.
This looks so good. Like, genuinely.
It's getting a release, is it? Get it on Game Pass, please.
If it's Game Pass, I'll play it. If not, then maybe
Nah.
not.
Yeah, but this won't be like a full pricey. That strikes me as like a £35 or like a. Well, actually, I don't know. You can't. You can never really tell these days. I guess.
Is that
but-
it?
Yeah. No, a bit more.
Okay, good. It's just yeah.
Shadow drop.
Fair
Yo,
enough.
Blindfire Fragpunk got shadow dropped. Well, none of us realised
Let's-
that.
Really? Just
Yeah,
it
no,
out?
it went, no, it was, early, it was a beta or something like that, wasn't it?
Oh, okay.
Actual shadow drop.
I love that. I love me a shadow drop.
Return onto Xbox. No, no.
Oh,
That
this is
I
something
think
else,
deep sea
right?
game.
I can't play that.
Yeah,
game.
I'm so glad you said that. I can't. I don't know. It looks cool as shit. I can't do it physically.
It's too scary. It's too
Oh,
scary.
what? Because of your what's the deep sea ocean fear called again? It's like
No, people
phasmophobia or
keep
something,
calling-
isn't it?
that's the fear of large
Thalassophobia.
objects in the sea, isn't it?
Yeah, Thalassophobia is the
That's
large
negative.
objects of the sea.
Yeah. Like,
Which, I mean, to be fair, yeah. I mean, that is the worst part
same
about it.
thing. But it's the same thing with like I just remember playing like Ark, and just falling
Yeah.
off the raft and swimming off, and I couldn't
Yeah.
do it.
Like, I'm not scared of piranhas.
If that happened, you just turn off your Xbox.
I just remember like genuinely screaming as there was a Megon, like I couldn't physically do anything.
That's part of my fear. Which is
Something
expensive.
too.
Oh, it's just coming to
Games
Game
Pass.
Oh.
You gotta play now, guys.
It's one of the best reviewed survival games ever. Did you know that?
But the thing is, I bet a lot of people
Let's
just don't
go.
play it for that reason.
Oh.
Oh, it's co-op. Okay,
Games
I'm
Pass.
tempted now.
Oh.
Actually.
Games Pass
Sounds
forever.
good. Well,
You have
well.
to.
Oh, fair. This is on Game Pass.
Oh yeah. I hope this comes to Game Pass. Yeah.
It's on wish list. I want to play it.
Yeah, it was amazing. It's meant to be amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it
And
came to
obviously
PS
done
Plus.
as well, isn't it?
It launched into PS Plus.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it was a good get for them.
Isn't it maybe like one guy as well?
I don't know.
I know Donkey is producing it. Or,
He's the publisher. Yeah.
yeah,
Big Mode.
Yeah, because he made his own company, didn't he, for publishing games?
yeah.
But everybody, it got reviewed really, really well.
Is that without shadows there is no light. These shadows are evil.
Don't know
Donkey
why.
got to fucking dialogue his own Xbox show. The Madman.
He's got such weird content. But I guess
This is basically Astrobot, isn't it?
it's just saying it's released. It's not like it's not.
Available today. Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not Game Pass or anything.
No Game Pass, but to be fair, if I were a contender, I wouldn't put it in Game Pass either. I'd just feel like
Fair
people are
enough,
going to buy it.
Go on, Tim. It's all you, mate.
Yeah. What is this, Tim?
Yeah, go on, Tim. Tell us
I
about it.
don't know what this
He's that
is.
handsome man.
He's Waze Steiner. You don't know about Waze Steiner? Pretty embarrassing.
Feet.
I don't know what
Feet.
this is, but I'm getting it.
Feet. Skirts.
Lots of guns.
Very skimpy outfits. We're locked in, boys.
God, Tim's all over it. An exciting space adventure.
Tim doesn't like sci-fi.
I do like sci-fi. I just don't like Starfield.
I think that's true.
Yeah, I don't like sci-fi, but no, Deck is right. It's not. I prefer like high fantasy to sci-fi. Fantasy choice.
Eden Zero.
Looks like it's done by the same art style as like who drew
this
Fairy
is
Tale.
immediately more interesting.
Yas Queen. This looks more up my alley.
What's this fucking Fortnite game?
Everything.
Praise
It
everything.
looks like the that Ubisoft game. It was like Breath of the Wild. That's the one.
Phoenix Rising. Yeah.
Phoenix Rising, yeah. It was Gods and Monsters, isn't it?
This is This is a
So, yeah. I don't know. This looks so appealing.
This looks fine to
This
me.
looks so bland.
But it looks like
so
it's just it has taken like 5 other games in the genre, blended together, and just
It's like taking
see if it sticks.
Zelda in it.
Yeah. And just throw it to the wall and see if it sticks.
Fortnite and then
I mean, I like the idea. It's all like systemic, you know, elements. And I don't know. Yeah, it has a summon on.
Big
this
sword
trailer.
though. Big bird.
Big
Yanko.
I'm in.
Petition
Game
to
fuck off.
complete. We're all gonna complete Monster Hunter Wilds wearing only Yanko. Yeah.
Can I get any Enkaku onesie? Is that what we're doing?
Well, real life
Are we getting
onesie.
cosplay?
I'm sure there's you can find that, see, and I'm all for it. I'll be there,
72 hours
Garaga.
stream. Race to master rank. What's this? The Berserker game?
no, I thought it was as well. But
It's not. Whatever it is, I like it.
It's really weird because I don't. This isn't doing anything for me. Last game seemed okay and wasn't doing anything for you.
little guy.
Oh come on! If that little bell guy did
Yeah,
sell it,
yeah. That kind of swayed my opinion a little bit. That little guy.
And maybe Crimson Desert? No.
I love a little guy. Huh? Did you Black Desert or Crimson Desert? Something else.
Yeah, Crimson Desert. Crimson
Yeah.
Desert's something else. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Was that
I
co-op
think
or was
it's
that
Crimson
just co-op?
No, I don't even know what this is.
Oh, man's got decked by that reindeer thing. Some sort of like buff len. What is this?
Yeah.
Fucking roided up Leshen. Do you remember they added the Leshen to Monster Hunter? That was pretty fire, wasn't it?
That was fun, and it was difficult as fuck.
Yeah.
It was so hard. Missile. Never heard of it.
Hunter. Mr. Hunter.
Sounds like an extraction game.
The little bell guy that we saw that we all liked is their company logo. They put it in the game.
That's
Oh
nice.
yeah, they went
That's
right.
nice of them.
Mid sentient.
Nautica 2 Game Pass, that's awesome. I like that.
That's quite cool.
And
Oh,
it's
2020,
it's
wasn't
quite
it?
co-op because they can scream together. I'm kind of a bit more.
Yeah, it was the edge of it, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
A little bit. Yeah.
a little bit, but
A little bit, but I'd still piss myself.
I'm not quite as
I know
bad
it's
at
gonna
the
be-
ocean.
I know it's something I want to experience. I just physically can't do it.
Yeah.
It's just dungeons.
Oh,
It's not-
this looks like immediately looks like that skateboarding game, Ollie World. But it's
I thought Dungeons of Interberg first. It's the exact same art style, but it's not.
What was the like original that started this renaissance of art style? What was that one in the desert, a little hooded?
Oh.
That's the one. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sable. Whatever this is, I
Well, no,
have the
it's not
vocab.
like Chromatic some shit. I don't know.
I have no idea. Couldn't tell you. I didn't like Sable though.
Yeah, I never played it.
I tried. I just
Oh,
didn't
you
get
did.
it. It wasn't for me really.
I just didn't get it. Way
Didn't
too
get it.
deep for me.
Yeah, it didn't.
Apparently,
It
it's a
didn't
lot
get
of like nothing. And it's like,
me. It is a lot of nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of
But
these
as long
kind
as
of
you
games
accept the fact
are.
that it's nothing. It's like nice. I think that's the idea.
I feel like a lot of games that do this sort of art style are they kind of you try to wonder and kind of just enjoy the music and the scenery.
So well,
Well, that's Annapurna though. To be fair, Annapurna is cooking. They do cooking.
co-op Phasmophobia.
Yeah, where is Phasmophobia?
I would love that. Yeah, that'd be great.
We co-op really dumb shit horror game. We don't even have that, do we?
Is this Phasmophobia?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I think it could be because that little dial thing. I recognize it.
Let's make that shit Game Pass.
Oh,
I love that.
Because isn't this where you have the like in-game chat
yeah,
and it like
yeah,
listens to your voice?
And it's proximity chat as well. Yeah.
But it's not like asymmetric, is it?
Love this
You
trailer.
have to do research to figure out what October.
Phasmophobia, nice.
When was that? What was the date?
29th.
29th, yeah.
So
sweet.
literally like
Wish list.
I'm
No Game
away,
Pass, but it's next week.
but
You're
We
away.
got that
You're
little
going.
fucking guy.
I'm going to Lanzarote for my brother's wedding.
Oh yeah, that's right. Just you look boy.
Yeah, he's the biggest floofiest boy I've ever seen.
Yeah. The little fucking shoo.
To check out. Is that a game preview game?
Pretty ugly though, isn't it? Let's be real. Game.
Mm. Yeah, it does look a bit aged. I was like, ugly.
But yeah, I've seen that game on PS3 pretty good.
Which is a Babu. Yo, it's got more crossover. Look, it's got Stalker.
No, that's fucking Fenrir, isn't it?
5.
Show us more Expedition 33. That's what we really need.
Yeah, that's quickly one of those like high anticipated games.
Obviously, that turn-based game that we really like, Expedition.
Yeah, that's what he literally said.
No, I'm thinking Immortals 33 Lords.
Yeah, Expedition 33 is the turn-based one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this Wu-Chang.
And I saw like the poster for like all like the voice actors in Expedition 33 as well. It's like mental.
Yeah, they got Andy Serkis
Yeah, it's crazy.
and Charlie Cox. We got Daredevil. They got Gollum. Oh, the lineup.
It's just weird. Well, it's like, especially Charlie Cox. Like, he's never done anything like that. And he's like, yeah, sure, okay, why not?
Who's even publishing that? Like, who's?
I wasn't expecting that, sorry.
What a clam.
Yeah, the minigun. The staff gun. It looked cool, but this looks interesting. This looks really cool.
Yeah, I think we saw this a bit earlier in the year, maybe or somewhere.
This looks fresh to me.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Ooh.
It's another game in the genre of Black Myth Wukong.
Yeah, I think.
Like,
Yeah, it's
Agent
Souls-like,
Ocarina,
isn't it?
Souls-like, based on logic.
What's that co-op one? Was not too long ago. The other like roguelike kind of thing. What's it called? Not Black Myth. You know,
Wulong. To Wulong?
yeah, Wulong. Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Like co-op?
I didn't realise that was called. But yeah, Wulong Fallen Dynasty. Yeah. What you play as Woman?
Yeah, nothing is forever.
It's
I remember because it was like
Pass.
what's the name?
I'm gonna
Yeah,
give
Game
it
Pass. Well, that's the thing. You get Expedition 33 in Game Pass. That's the day one Game Pass.
That's the day one 50 players. I probably should have Metaphor finished by then. Maybe.
Oh, Remedy. Oh,
I heard
Should we
that
back up Spirit?
Metaphor could be like 100 hours long, and it's good.
fuck this.
I reckon
They're shooter. They're not making a shooter, are they? No. Like an online shooter. What is this?
that
No.
we knew that they were making
Is it a Red? No, not like a Left
they
4
were
Dead.
making a co-op game.
Yeah.
It's kind of Left 4 Dead, isn't it?
It looks like it's in the Control universe by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Be
Looks
down
like
for
they've
this.
just spun those ideas into a
A
small
nice,
game.
a nice little Left 4 Dead experience by Remedy.
Remedy
It's
the first two.
pretty, though. Am I lying? It doesn't.
No, they're pretty good cooperative.
Looks fun.
I don't know. It's the art style. Clicking noise. Not say it's ready, so I'm gonna.
Yes. Very
Oh,
nice.
yeah.
I'm still gonna play that.
Oh, cool.
Something kind of off.
That's pretty cool.
I feel like people always want more like Left 4 Dead like games, but they never really hit. I don't know. I wonder if that's a genre
I
that's actually left
guarantee-
in the past.
I guarantee the internet's going to be losing its mind about that.
In a good way or a bad way?
asked for this?
Oh, okay.
Like,
In a bad way.
Yeah. Stick to making single
I'll
player.
say some Chrono looks cool. What else we got? Subnautica 2 and well.
Yeah.
Phasmophobia.
Phasmophobia.
Phasmophobia, that's the one.
Mhm.
Week. Game Pass.
Yeah, that'd be fun actually. Maybe we should have like a game night for that. Try and get it myself.
Definitely.
When was the date for that?
Just 2025. I didn't really have a date.
I don't know. That
Cool.
would be a great one.
There's
Probably.
some interesting things in there that I'm excited for.
Yeah. We'll have to get everyone on board to buy Phasmophobia, but I think it's going to be in game previews. It probably won't be too expensive, but
I can't imagine it's a.
How much is it now? I imagine it's even
and I think for
like
at that time,
16 pounds on Steam. 16.75.
something
So
similar then.
probably on Xbox it'll be same price roughly. 16
Full
quid.
player online.
Yeah,
co-op.
I can't imagine much more.
Maybe it's
Wait,
on
how long?
Xbox,
How much
actually.
did you say?
Still.
Again?
16.75 on Steam.
Yeah,
so
that's where I'd
probably
put it.
Yeah, sounds about right. That's that's pretty cool. It's everyone's really highly of that game.
I do think
And I think I'd rather have that.
We've not had really since actually.
I think I'd rather have Phasmophobia than a Lethal Company or something. Well, personally, I know Lethal Company always just seemed a bit too jank for me, and a
A
bit,
bit too casual maybe. A bit
yeah.
like, I don't know.
Right now, I want to see if I can just grab these. Copy. Obviously, we have to move over to the other. Thing now. Oh, sweet. I should be able to do that,
Yeah, sure.
actually.
All right.
Nice.
Well, while you're doing that, we'll just do a quick and dirty review then. Caden, how did you have fun? Was that a good time for you?
That was nice. It was cool to see things coming to Xbox. I think a lot of that was, I think I was aware of a lot of that. So what was it? It was fast, like the co-op stuff. I was a bit more aware of.
Yeah.
The Remedy co-op game didn't look. I don't know. Something about that didn't really click with me. I'm not quite sure. Obviously, it might be just a bit. Obviously, have to see a bit more, but something about it just didn't click with me. Phasmophobia looks classic. Looks great. Subnautica. I do want to play Subnautica, but we've discussed it's not something I can do solo, so I'm definitely up for playing that co-op on Games Pass. Like I kind of have to really. That Mu Lang. What was her name? Mu Chang. This sounds
Wu
racist now.
Chang. Wu Chang.
Fallen Dynasty. No, that's
No.
Wulong.
Wu Chang. Nothing is dead. Life is fuck. What is it? What is it? Fallen Feathers. That's the one.
That's
Wu
the one.
Chang. Fallen Feathers.
That looked cool. Games Pass. As
Oh,
well.
the mouse game. That mouse first-person shooter game.
It wasn't Games Pass, but looked cool.
That was Game Pass.
It was Games Pass.
The Game Pass summary we got at the end was Subnautica 2, Eternal Strands, which was the game that I didn't like the look of at the beginning, the colourful one. Wheel World, Wu Chang Fallen Feathers, and FBC Firebreak, which was the co-op Remedy. Those were the 5 Game Pass drops that we got there.
Cool. Yeah, fine. Yeah, it's all right. Completely
good. I had fun. I'd give that a good 7.
Yeah,
had a good time.
Yeah, I'd agree with a 7 as well. Yeah, there's a few things I cared about, and there was some I didn't. So yeah, overall not bad.
Yeah, there was no big pop, but I think their Remedy is that game is pretty exciting. I think they could be good. I think
DLC. Sorry, I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, of course.
I'm very excited for that. Actually, I might even just boot my Xbox now and have a look. Like, is that part of the pass, or was that just?
I've got no idea.
Let's see.
I've got no idea, buddy.
I would like that to be the case.
Okay. All right. Tim, shall I pivot into the podcast now?
Yeah, you're good to go. I'm all sorted, my end.
Nice. Okay. So for any audio listeners that are joining, we're moving into the podcast part of the show now. I may do a sneaky edit to, not have you listen to us commentate on something you can't see, because I feel like that would be quite weird. But we're going to move into the podcast part of the show as normal. Boys, I want us to just do a quick round tour on what we've been playing, because it's been ages since we've done a show. It's been like a month now, really. So I just wanted to sort of go around, and if I let Tim just focus and finish up on what he's doing.
I'm done.
I'll
I'm
start
finished.
with you. Okay. Well, I'll start with you anyway, Caden. What have you been playing? How have you been going? How's the gamer brain, etc.
Gamey bang.
Yeah.
A pretty slow one for me, so no real big hitters.
You're buying. They're not like free
No,
trials or
they're all
anything like that.
they're all free to play demos.
Oh,
just,
okay,
you
I
just
see.
play for like 30 minutes, and you're like, oh yeah, or nah. So like, there's a few games I played where I'm like, no, not really.
Oh
The
yeah,
other
or
game I
nah.
played was called, what was it, Jotun Slayer Horde of Hell. So that was the top down I was talking about. So then kind of when I finished bouncing around on those smaller indie games, Never came out, or
Neither.
from the makers of Gree.
It's very
and
pretty.
I loved Gree. I thought Gree was such a lovely, relaxed kind of, chilled game. So Neither is very kind of similar, very similar. So I've been playing that for maybe about 2 hours or so, and it's been quite a nice, lovely experience. So going to probably try and finish that by the end of the week, which I don't really see being an issue. But that's very, very lovely, and there's a heckin' good boy in it as well. That's what the game's about. It's about a heckin' good boy, and he helps you.
Neva is about a good
Neva's
boy.
a heckin' good boy.
Oh, that's lovely.
His papa. Died in winter, so now you've got to raise him from spring, and then you have to make him a big, strong boy for the winter.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
And I don't think I dreamed it, Kane, but I believe me and you played a game together.
Whoa. Co-op gaming.
We did. No, I do remember. Yeah. So obviously, yeah. No, yeah, we played the Remnant 2 DLC.
Without me? Okay.
Yeah, of course we did. We played everything without you because you were too busy.
We completed Diablo as well.
I was too busy getting swept up in a hurricane. Sorry, that's my bad.
Yeah, this is the ghost of Tim.
Yeah, this is a very advanced hologram. It's AI.
Crazy.
Yeah, the
it's crazy what Disney can do.
DLC was pretty interesting. In my honest opinion, I think it's probably the weakest one.
Oh, you guys just wrapped it all up? You're kind of just done with it, are you?
And we kind of did that without even trying.
Ah.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't have as much interest in replaying this one, like at all.
Yeah.
Whereas with all the other DLC, I immediately was just like, oh, cool, there was this decision, there was that decision. I wonder what happened if I did this or I did that. In this one, it's just like there was one NPC where you could either do this or do that. I don't know, Dave. Maybe maybe I'm a little bit harsh on it, but in my opinion, it was the weakest DLC.
I would agree that I think it was the weakest one. I still had a great time. I think all of the DLCs for this games are like 8s or above. Like I still think they're all good, but I think the others were pretty good. Whereas I think this was just good.
Yes.
But this one, but it's kind of hard to compare because like the main thing about this one is that it was on Narude, so it was on the like sci-fi planet. So Tim will hate it.
It is my least favorite planet.
And you navigate most of the planet by grabbing onto these like Fortnite drones, and you like fly around rather than just running from point to point. So the worlds are like islands over the sizzling purple like lava. So that was quite fun in a sense because it was fresh. I quite liked that, to be honest, because it felt like because you had to like consider like verticality, and there were like drifts that you had to catch. And me and Caden found a couple of secrets, like actually, didn't we, by just like skirting around the map and like, so that was quite
we found
fun.
Everything legitimately, didn't we? You found the class and the armor.
Yes,
I found a few of the like the side quest areas that are a bit harder to reach, but yeah, we did it all pretty legitimately. Like, discovered a lot of the content without guides or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, but other than that, like, Narude is like narratively and atmospherically my favorite place in Remnant 2, so I really liked being there. But it's more that because it's the last DLC, I've just got less of an interest in grinding out a new build. Like, I already had a great build, and they did add a boss rush mode with this DLC. And I just like, I'm never a big fan of boss rush modes. I don't know, like, it's just not. No, I haven't played it. I'd be willing to give it a go, but it's like I'm not gonna redo my whole build. Like, because when we did the other two DLCs, we kind of did them back to back, didn't we? Like and so I was a bit more incentivized to be like, oh, let's work with new classes, and like so I got a lot of value out of that. Whereas this time I'm like, if they were adding like a survival, like or like a horde mode or something, I'd have a bit more interest in that, and maybe I'd want to play that a bit longer. But yeah, and it also ended really abruptly. It was really weird. We like got to the last bus, didn't we? And then there was no cutscene, and it was just like, and it just ended. It was like, oh right, okay. So this is the last I see of Remnant 2 ever.
We had like a bug, and we were like,
yeah, we thought it was a glitch. Yeah.
Well, what did you think about the new class? Because I've got my.
I haven't used it, like I said, because I haven't had any interest in really redoing my build. But
okay, I thought, is that because you don't have an interest in the new class?
I don't know. I just couldn't really be bothered to get into it because I'd be starting at level 1 with it, and but like the theme of like all of the weapons and the rings and everything in the DLC was like shields and explosives, wasn't it? That was like the thing, which I don't think is the best thing for a final DLC. Like, I think by that point everybody's probably just got aggressive builds.
Niche. What you're saying, that's a very niche build, isn't it? That's very survival focused, very niche.
And it's not very fun either.
Yeah, whereas Invoker was like skill and mod, wasn't it? A lot of his shit was like skill and mod damage, and then the other DLC was all like elemental damage and shit like that. But like they work quite well together. Whereas with the shield and mod damage, it's very much like Archon or Engineer, and Engineer's not that exciting, and Archon is good, but again not exciting. Whereas the Invoker and Elementalist, is that what they're called? Ritualist?
Ritualist, yeah.
I thought Ritualist was the potion bloke.
No, that's Alchemist.
Okay, cool, thank you. Yeah, I thought immediately they're just interesting. Whereas this guy is just like, oh, I've got a drone. He'll heal me if I want, or you, or give me shield, or give you shield, or what's the other one? I can't remember what the other one is. It's there's no like interactivity in my opinion.
There's no source.
Yeah,
like if somebody played that and said it's less interesting,
around you like explodes. Yeah, or like everything is affected by fire, and when it's affected by fire, you do more damage. And it's like, yeah, cool, that's pretty cool. But with this guy, it's like, this drone, if you're weak, he'll heal you.
Not most
if somebody played a lot of that class and said it was the least interesting of the 3 DLC classes, I would probably say that's fair. I said I haven't played it, but it does have its uses, but it feels like the sort of class that would be really have been good to have in the base game rather than for the final DLC. So yeah, that's all it was. But like I said, I really enjoyed it. I think all of the DLCs for Remnant 2 have been great. They were great in the first game as well. So I'm excited to see more Remnant. I think this is a cracking IP. I'm kind of sad to see the back end of it, to be honest. It's been nice always having a new DLC on the horizon.
I never had the experience with the first game, so Remnant 2 was my first experience with Remnant. So I may.
And now you know why we loved it so much.
Yeah, I loved it. I remember when we finished playing through Remnant, I was still playing it. I know you guys maybe weren't so invested with me, but I was grinding the hell out of that game. I loved it when the DLC came out and grinded the DLC. I went through the DLC like 3-4 times, both of them.
Yeah, you did.
Before this one. This one, I don't have that same energy. So I don't. Yeah. But
so for me, it's not the DLC's fault. It's just the timing.
Yeah.
For me.
Okay, sure.
But as with all of them, they're additive, aren't they? Because you replay it and it's it evolves over separate playthroughs. But yeah, either way, yeah, really good. I'm really glad we played it, but I'm sad to see the back end of Remnant 2. But yeah, I would probably agree that it is the weakest DLC of the three. I probably would agree.
Do you think we're getting a Remnant 3?
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah.
We'll
you think the game's
I'm excited. Yeah.
done well enough to keep going? Yeah.
Oh yeah, it showed up on some Game of the Year list, didn't it? I think best multiplayer game. I think it showed up on a Game of the Year nomination last year, which is great for them. It's what who is it? Is it Gunfire Games? It's the Dark Side of Steps, isn't it?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Remnant 2 really did really well in terms of like cracking into like the more core audience. So hell yeah, give me more of that Dark Souls shooter. Secrets on secret systems. Like I still remember playing through the base games and like some of the things that we were finding. Like it was fucking unbelievable. Like they must have so much fun making those secrets and like looking at how many people actually find them in the focus groups. Like 1 in 1,000 actually find it.
Well, to be fair, some communities find shit like that insanely fast. Like how the hell they do it. I guess it's a lot of it is data mining and stuff, but still, it's just like
Yeah. Okay, well, while we're on that, then I'll just quickly do a segue to me, I suppose, and then we can do a segue to Tim when I start talking about Metaphor, but I'm not there yet. I played and completed through Shattered Space, the Starfield DLC. I made a big tweet thread about it.
I'm quite excited to hear about your opinion on this.
I read some of your tweet thread.
Yeah, I made a long tweet thread about it, so you can go and read that if you're interested, if you prefer reading, whatever. I think what I gave it was a 6.5, and it was mostly let down, to be honest, by performance and bugs, which was just a real shame, to be honest. If it wasn't for that, I'd have probably given it a 7 or a 7.5. It was good, like it's competent, it's perfectly fine. It's just that I think Starfield is such a polarizing game these days that, and I'm not sure how true this is for you guys, but like a lot of the feedback post-launch was like, oh, this isn't what Bethesda does best. I like the Skyrim and the Fallout methods of exploration in my Bethesda games, where you see something and you go and approach it, and that is kind of not quite there in Starfield. They really marketed Shattered Space as like, oh, this is just a planet and we've handcrafted everything and it's going to be just like that. I don't know. Starfield isn't made for that. Like, I would have much rather they doubled down on the systems that they already had in Starfield, or they doubled down on making the exploration more rich when you are out in space or you are in, space combat. Like, being just stuck on one planet in Starfield just feels like steps backwards to me. Like
it's a field of stars rather than
it's not. Yeah, it's just star.
Well, less than that.
And it really just felt like a faction quest. And to be fair as well, like the price was quite high for what it was. It was okay. It wasn't totally unreasonable. There's a good number of side quests. There's new guns, new stuff here and there. And it was 30 quid. So it was like, not too bad, but it was pricey for, I think, what felt like just an isolated new planet with some stuff on it to do. It just felt like a faction quest.
Who do you think the DLC was made for? Do you think it was made for people who really enjoyed Starfield, or for people who think should come back to Starfield? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think realistically they probably had this planned out well in advance anyway. But I think once they saw the feedback to the base game, they were like, let's market this as something to pull people in who like maybe dropped off of like, oh, come and enjoy this classical Bethesda experience. But of course, it isn't like that because it's built into a game where that isn't where the juice is. The juice isn't on just walking around on a proc gen planet with like 10 or 15 handcrafted points of interest. So, I think you lose out on that quite a lot. Whereas to me, even though the exploration was really slow, and because I will say this, like going back to Starfield is so hard. It's so hard because it's just like playing through molasses. It's so slow to like get through to what you want to do. Once you get into the rhythm, it's fine and you get over it. But like I imagine anybody that came back with the hopes that this would be like make them feel better about it, just were like, nah, this is not for me. This is not it. So as I say, it was perfectly fine. It was perfectly competent. I would have been a 7 or a 7.5. It was quite enjoyable. Some of the story beats. The new planet did look quite nice, even though it was like became a bit of an eyesore after 10 hours. As I say, I don't want to be on the same planet for 10 hours in Starfield. It's just kind of not what I liked about that game. I liked the new weapons, I liked some of the new characters and the stories. The decisions were like fine, the impact on the wider universe, I don't know because I didn't sort of explore that much further. Most of the enjoyment I honestly had going back was just to be playing Starfield again. Like I liked the base game quite a lot. I had to restart my New Game Plus because I was on New Game Plus 3 and the universe I was in was one where I had killed all of Constellation. So my character showed up with a gun and gunned down all of the members of Constellation. And so I had to then kill me and all the members were dead. And so I didn't have any companions. So I had to start the universe again.
Oh, so you didn't even have Andrea to transition into the...
They were all dead. So I had to like start. So I had to go through the rigmarole of like doing the New Game Plus again to get back into a normal universe. And that was like, I just had fun like doing that at my own pace. And like I said, like a lot of the enjoyment there was just playing Starfield again. And a lot of the actual base game additions are really good. Like you can play 60 frames now. They've got this like difficulty menu where you can tweak parts of the game that you like or don't like and get rewarded or penalized
That's cool.
on XP for that. So I like turned up the afflictions. So like you remember in the base game you would get like environmental afflictions, but it would show up and then it would never really do anything. It would be like toxic rain and then nothing would really ever happen. You can turn that up so like you do actually catch shit. And it can be more punishing. But you get XP rewarded for it. Fuck yeah, woo! And like gunfights and like ship fights, and there was other stuff as well, like healing amount, So basically, and I've always said this about games, but like if you're going to give me difficulty options, like make it worth it because I will actually fiddle around with it. And there was things like carry weight, if carry weight really pisses you off, you can just whip that right down.
Yes,
You'll lose a bit of XP gain. You lose a bit of XP gain, but it'll be worth it and you can crank up like gun combat if you find that you're better at that, or so I cranked up all the stuff that was like the survivability and the combat, and I ended up on like plus 35% XP gain. It's a really smart.
I've not heard of that kind of.
No,
like
it's quite
because
clever.
in some games where it's like, Starfield, perfect example. Carry weight pissed me the shit off. I hated it. So in that case, I'd wind up all the way down. I'd be like, look, give me all of it. And gun combat, I never struggled with at all. So at least give me a kind of risk reward in regards to like.
That's it.
So that's interesting. I like that. I've not really seen that kind of.
You can kind of tailor your own experience, especially if you're like role playing.
There's a lot of games that are like, if you do it harder, you get more XP. Yeah, sure. But I think if you actually can adjust different elements of the game for different rewards, I think that's pretty interesting. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah, and I quite like that. I quite liked that the game had a bit more of after I'd adjusted it, it had a bit more of a survivally kind of feel to it. Like I really had to search for like remedies and stuff so I could repair like broken bones or burns or things like that I'd get from the environment, which was quite enjoyable and it was worth it for the XP trade-off. So yeah, I really like that. They also added the Rev 8, the car. which is a great addition. To be fair, the haters were right on that one. The game does need that. It just turns up. You can change the colors on it. It turns up next to your ship. It controls really well, surprisingly, considering it's Bethesda haven't made a vehicle before. It's really fun to use. It's got boosters. It's a good time. So yeah, that's the long and short of it. It bit disappointing overall, but mostly weighed down because of bugs and performance. I kept crashing. I probably had 15 crashes throughout the whole playthrough.
That's a lot. Jesus Christ.
And if you remember the saving in Bethesda games, it's like the autosaves are really inconsistent. So I was like constantly, like obsessively quick saving to make sure that it didn't happen. Really frustrating.
You think that rating will go up in maybe a month's time when they've patched it a little bit, or is that not really recoverable via a few little patches?
I mean, I think it will help, but I think most people don't think it's great for the same reasons I've said. Like I said, I think it's perfectly serviceable. I think it's good. It's good.
I mean, that
it's
adds
just
up
not
with
great.
the reviews. I think it's like high 60s at the minute.
Something like
low
that, yeah.
60s. I actually checked while Deck was talking. It's 61% on OpenCritic.
Oh, okay, a lot lower than I thought. But
I mean, I saw some people handing out like 3s and 4s, and I'm like, I mean, whatever.
Yeah,
that's like below
me.
Gollum. That's like below
yeah.
Gollum. Whatever. A game that doesn't work. Concord doesn't exist anymore, and these guys gave it an 8 and a 9. So whatever. So it's fine. It's a bit disappointing for me. I just wanted something else out of it. Ultimately, I wanted a game that multiplies what Starfield was good at, rather than trying to make a Skyrim experience in it, because this is not what the game was made for. It's not the atmosphere. It's not the tone of the game. So yeah, whatever. We'll see what they manage to do with the second DLC. But yeah, this one was a bit disappointing for me.
Also, just before you jump off that, I could have sworn the Rev 8 came out in like a free update before the DLC.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
just so
yes.
you don't missell it, it didn't technically come with the DLC.
No.
Yeah.
No, the 60 frames, the accessibility option, difficulty options we were talking about, and the Rev 8 have all been like free updates.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nice.
Cool. And then I've started playing Metaphor Refantasio. Metaphor Refantasio.
excellent name.
Just call it MR.
Refantasio.
It's Refantasio, I believe is how it's pronounced. Yeah.
Refanta.
As in to refanta something.
As in,
it wasn't a Fanta. Oh, it used to be Fanta, and now it is.
Yeah,
Refanta.
that's right.
Yeah.
It's when you drink your Fanta and you finish in Nando's, and you go back and you say, "Can I have another one?" And they say,
"Can I Refanta?"
Would you like to refanta?
Yeah.
Got it. Metaphorically.
And they say, "Do you have a metaphor for that?" And I say, "No, please, leave me alone. I'm just trying to describe."
I don't get this joke. I just want more Fanta.
Yeah, leave me alone. I don't get paid enough for
Got
this.
it. Right.
This game. This is a great game. This is a good video game. This is a damn good video game.
It is good.
Game of the
It is very good.
Game of the Year contender. This is good shit. This is good shit. Every 10 seconds? No, every 10 minutes, this is the noise I'm making. Oh. Okay. All right then.
Is that just you flicking through the menus as well?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Because am I right in saying this is the same developers as Persona 5, but it's an actual
It's Atlas.
Yeah, it's a new IP, isn't it? Like, it's like, yeah, okay. It's obviously
same developers.
The moment I saw it, I'm like, that's Persona, but it's obviously not.
But Refantasyo'd.
Yes.
It's funny because I saw a review for it, and they said this is the coolest UI I've ever seen. Like, it was like the most unique. Like, I actually like the game for the UI, and I was like, okay,
it's
like,
insane.
like a nice UI.
Yeah, it's got a very cool UI. I mean, I'm only like 4 or 5 hours in so far, so I really can't speak because it's going to be such a long game. But I'm instantly gripped by the world. I'm instantly gripped by the style, even though it isn't technically or graphically impressive. It's very cohesive in the style it's selling. There's like about 1,000 questions the game poses to you in the first 3 hours, and I mean that in a good way. Like, and they just give you like a dictionary that you can just go to go check out on things you've missed or you want to explore more. Missed a line of dialogue? No worries. There's a log that you can go and revisit.
Yep.
Peak. Love that. Love that shit.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be really enjoyable for me. I'm enjoying my time so far. I don't know how it's going to keep going. I'm only, like I said, 4 hours
I'm
in. But,
very out of touch
I'm
with this
interested.
game. Is that combat very similar to Persona, like turn-based, like attack
Yeah.
skills,
Weakness
items, that
exploiting,
kind of-
rock paper scissors.
Yeah,
But
style.
there's a real time element as well, like before you enter turn-based combat with the dodge and attacking to try and like give yourself an advantage for the
Okay.
turn-based bit, and
So
it
for
just
someone-
keeps the game feeling varied. There's different stuff going on.
So for someone who I really don't have a JRPG like background at all, I just don't. How would you get me into it? Like, what makes this one more interesting than? Because I know you're not.
It's not
really a
about
JRPG.
schoolboys and schoolgirls.
I don't think you could play this game, Caden. There's so much.
Subtext.
There's so much
Oh.
dialogue and text and all that kind of stuff. I just don't think it's for you.
I mean, I do take slight offence to that.
No,
You
but,
can't
like,
read.
Could you
buddy.
really? Okay, so let's say this is
Right.
probably like a 70-hour game. I'd probably say like
Oh,
half of
well,
the
see-
game you're just it's just text. Half of your time
I think
played will
text is-
probably.
because Baldur's Gate, you two haven't played Baldur's Gate. Just
It's true. Well, Tim hasn't completed Elden Ring either, so I'm just going to throw him under the bus as well.
Oh,
Like
That
what I
was
mean?
very unnecessary. I wasn't.
2 Game of the Years he hasn't played. It's only 1 for me.
Okay.
I'm
So
taking you down with me.
unnecessary.
Sorry, man.
what was it? What was that game you was
I
playing?
didn't even
not
do
so long
anything
ago?
to you.
Bioshock.
Well, Atomic Heart.
That
Yeah,
was it. Yeah.
You
Well,
class.
play this game.
So good.
fucking idiot.
So
Anyway.
good. Fuck off.
Yeah, it's not about schoolgirls. There is a lot of dialogue, and I have found that a bit hard. Like you get this, where there's
Is it
like
voice acted or is
you-
it all?
most
Some.
of it. I would say like
okay.
60% of it is voice acted, and it's one of those things where there's like when you're not in a cutscene, they just say the first word, and the rest of it's just reading. Yeah.
And then they
Yeah.
hold like a.
There is quite a lot of stopping and starting though. I don't know if you've noticed that, Tim. And I think that's just the nature of I think JRPGs
Oh, no, yeah,
where
I'm
it's
not,
like
I'm not going to
you play for 10 seconds and then it's like, hey, you use the dialogue bit, and then you play for another 10 seconds and it's like it's a cutscene, and that's quite frustrating. But as the game's gone on, it's eased on me a bit because I'm getting more into the characters, so it's like becoming less of an issue. So as I say, it's really hard to give any sort of judgment of how I think the game is going to shape up by the time I'm finished with it. I just know, having now played about 4 hours of it, that this metaphor Refantasio has the source. It has the source, and I'm quite enjoying it
So
so
you
far.
think it's going to be on that? Well, maybe even to Tim to help him segue into his opinion on the game. Is it going to be a bit like a game of the year list? It's going to be in that list of games of the year.
100%. 100%.
Okay.
I think it's actually going to be the top contender. I think it might be a 50-50 between that and something else. I don't know what Final Fantasy or I don't know what else came out, but yeah,
Myth.
yeah. Like I genuinely think it's going to be. I think it will be in like the top 2, top 3. Yeah.
Holdovers. But so
Yeah.
what's your? I mean, you're the JRPG guy, realistically here. What makes this one different to other ones? Like, in my opinion, it looks like all the other ones. So like, that's just kind
Yeah, I mean, and it does look and play like the other ones as well. But I mean, I guess it's their first sort of take at like just like a full like fantasy world as well. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, like Persona is fantasy. Obviously, it's crazy some of the stuff you do in it, but like it's just like high fantasy and stuff like that. Like, you know, like wizards and monsters and dragons and all that kind of stuff are in it.
okay.
But I just think they've just, in my opinion, I feel like they streamlined a lot of what Persona kind of got wrong, especially with like Dex said, with the real-time combat element and stuff like that. In previous games, it's kind of just, even if you're 30 levels above an enemy and you accidentally run into it, you have to go through the whole, you know, you go into the battle and then you use a move on it and then it gives you the XP screen and then you leave it.
Kind of like
But-
Pokemon. where
It's
you're, like,
snappy as
running to
fuck.
the Pokemon
It's
Yeah.
snappy.
grass,
But
where you're like,
this-
oh, fuck's sake.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but
They
this doesn't
make
have that anymore.
Okay.
Those fodder enemies that you've out leveled ages ago, you could literally just press X on them and they just fucking die. Like you just swing at them and they just die, and then it gives you XP and stuff like that, and an item drop and stuff like that, and you just run through. So it just kind of just streamlines all of that, just bullshit that could kind of be a little bit annoying. And yeah, I mean, pretty much everything Deck said, to be honest. It's just really, really solid at the moment. The music's also class as well. That guy just in the background, like, he's great.
The OT, yeah, the OT is class. But you know, have you been in the library yet with Moore?
Yeah, sometimes he gets so loud I can't hear him.
Oh, I can't hear you.
Yeah,
kind of like The Witcher where you're fighting and he's just shouting at you.
Yeah. I actually couldn't hear him for some of that. Yeah, I did experience that. But I mean, generally though, the soundtrack is just insane. It's so good. And yeah, it's just really solid. I think it's quite cool what they've done as well, because in previous games, kind of the characters that you met along the way all just did their kind of thing. So like you met the girl character, the man character, you know, the guy was big and he punches things and he has fire attacks, and the girl healed and she has wind attacks, and that's what they did for the entire game. Whereas now with the archetype system and stuff like that, you can just choose what anyone is and does, and you can swap them on the fly. So you can be like the big burly man, but you can give him the mage archetype or something like that. It doesn't matter. The game doesn't like force you into these roles for these characters. And obviously
does that affect the story in any way? Just because Baldur's Gate is exactly like that, but sometimes people don't like doing that because it affects the kind of the role playing aspect of it. Does that work in that case or not?
Don't think so. No, I mean, obviously, I haven't played enough of the game to know, but I don't think that's something that would be baked into an Atlas game like that. No, I think it's just solely the actual combat element that it changes. But yeah, and it's just really cool, and you can swap it on the fly as well. So once you study these archetypes as well, you can just swap them like whenever you want. You know, if you fail a boss fight or whatever, you can go back and just be like, okay, well, I'm just going to switch this guy to be the brawler. I'm going to become the healer and do all that. And each archetype has like its own branching paths as well. Like the healer, you like level up to like level 10, and then you invest a load of currency, and it branches off to become like a different. It's like still the healer one, but it might be like more of like a combat healer or something like that. I don't know, and it will play like completely different. It's like a subclass within the main archetype, which is really cool. It kind of reminds me of like vocations from like Dragon's Dogma and stuff like that. I feel like that's kind of what they were going for. And there's loads, man. Like the grid looks insane. There's got to be at least like 50, which is kind of crazy. And yeah, it's just really good. Like Deck, I'm just having a really good time with it. But like Deck said as well, it's hard to say once you get 50, 60, 70 hours into it, because I loved Persona 3 Reload for like ages, and then I got past like the 50-hour mark and I was like, just make it end. Like I need this to end. I don't know if it'll be the same for Metaphor, because I feel like I enjoy the world, the characters and stuff like that so much more already, like immediately. I prefer everything about this game than Persona's thrown at me in the past. So yeah, maybe that'll carry me further, but I've heard it's insanely long. But then I also read an article from the developer and said, yeah, it is insanely long, but it's not bloated. They were like, it has so many twists and turns and all that kind of stuff that it's just that long. They said they actually didn't want to bore the players, and they actually wanted to steer away from what they did in previous Persona games. So it just makes me think that it's just jam-packed. Like it's not, there won't be that much filler. So
I think this it's probably not a full conversation for today, but I think it like really opens an interesting conversation about like a lot of Japanese games approach to this sort of thing, where the focus really isn't on fidelity or lip syncing or high tech animation work, and that allows them to just speed through development so much quicker. Like they can make big games that aren't massive, that don't have massive development timelines. They're still big, but this is it's a massive game in terms of length. But if you were to make like a God of War or whatever, a Red Dead Redemption that was this long in terms of just the raw storyline, you'd be looking at a game that took 12 years to develop. It's $7 billion or something. It's just, I think it's just a really interesting thing there as we're at the apex of games now, in terms of how they look and sound, and publishers must be asking themselves that question, like, what's the best route to go down?
That's probably the main difference between West and East culture, really, isn't it? Like, I think Western games are a lot more kind of narratively driven, where it's like you've got 20 hours, 20, 30, 50 hours to experience this story, where I think a lot of Eastern games are like 50 hours plus, like 50 hours minimum kind of thing. Like, I think that's what's always kind of scared me with Japanese games. It's like, just you're playing it for a long time.
Yeah, they're definitely a lot longer, no doubt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be a lengthy old boy, but I'm looking forward
to
it.
Big congrats to Atlas on that. It's their best, then the most reviewed game, not most reviewed, most played game, isn't it, on Steam ever? It's topped out even over Persona 5 now. So that's good for them, and because they're launching on all platforms at the same time now, which is I'm sure that they're the big chiefs up there are looking at it going, oh my god, I can't believe we didn't do this before. Weird how having synchronized releases really helps with PR and word of mouth and sales.
Yeah, that was the thing, because Persona 5 didn't release on PC, did it? Or it didn't release on Steam, from what I remember.
It was just PlayStation, and it came to Steam later.
Yeah, it's so silly. I feel like so many companies I mean, Square Enix had the same realization as well. Yeah, it's I don't know why it's taken them so long, but hey ho.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Right, let's a really quick shout out to Rollerdrome. Nothing else to say. Rollerdrome just fucking rocks. That game's so good. It's on Game Pass.
Game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass. It's so
good. I've not
good.
talked about that game before.
It's so good. I don't think so.
Oh, I've played the shit out of that game. That's awesome.
Yeah, I played it a bit before, but I just was playing it the other week just because it's an easy game to play while you listen to a podcast, and it's just such a good action game. It's so good.
Handheld, like it.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
It's amazing. Awesome. So quick shout out to, where's it gone? Oh no, our chats. Oh, here it is. Quick shout out to the Rambler 1941 for saying trash! Exclamation mark. I don't know when you said that.
It was when Caden was talking. Well, if he's talking about Caden or Caden's opinion. Either way, it's valid.
It's cool. So let's get into just a couple of the stories then. Obviously, we've been away for a while now, but I've just picked up on some of the big things that have happened this week, really. I just wanted to very quickly start us off with, I don't know if you guys saw this, but PlayStation are doing a global music worldwide tour. I'm not joking. They're doing a concert music tour across the world.
Well,
for their game.
Oh, yeah.
I was about to say, is this kind of like their exclusive games? So things like God of War.
I assume so.
Like Horizon, things like that. And
you think Square Enix would be a big part of that? I mean, maybe they will, but they're not necessarily exclusive, are they? So
that sounds pretty cool, in my opinion. But
it's just kind of weird to me.
I'm just bouncing off.
This is very like tell me if I'm being like a dickhead here. Like, is this a bit smelling my own farts level of pretentious?
It's a bit pretentious.
Like,
yeah.
Okay, good. It's not just me.
Because it's a very, very, very niche. Like, for not only for a game to have a nice soundtrack where people are like, "Oh yeah, I appreciate this," but then to obviously play that music live, it's got to surely aim for a very, very niche group of people, right?
And sell like tickets and shit like that. Like, it's very rare that I even go on Spotify and add a game soundtrack that I like. I mean, I've done it a few times. Don't get me wrong.
Is Life is Strange, and that's the only game I've actually been like, yeah, this soundtrack is banging. That's it.
Really? I've got a whole Spotify playlist to the bangers that I've collected throughout the years.
Worlds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Okay, yeah.
There's the thing on the wall.
Come
There you
here,
go.
come here.
Very nice.
Feel like
God.
you grab me by my neck.
Yeah,
like,
don't like being grabbed like that.
Yeah, it was that Pepe the Frog where, you know, he's like... yeah, it's just something funny I saw, and it really, like, the wider conversation here, which we're not going to get into really, but I just think it's poignant, is like, I always remember Phil Spencer talking about why they're doing what they're doing with Xbox, you know, and the shit show that's been really, but him saying, we need more money. We have two choices. We either monetize you guys more, or we look to get money elsewhere. We're going with option B. We're going with the latter option. We're trying to get more money elsewhere for that to happen. I think increasingly it's more and more obvious that PlayStation are doing option A. They're monetizing their own player base more. It's not like one isn't right or wrong. It's just, you know, a difference of strategy. You know, more remakes, more TV shows, concerts for their existing audience, because nobody who isn't a PlayStation fan isn't going to go to a PlayStation concert. So it's just an interesting difference in strategy is all.
But yeah, I bought us all tickets, so
Oh, sweet.
I'm pretty
Can't
hyped.
wait. Let's go. Can't wait to smell them farts.
One thing I've
It
always been
smells
meaning
so
to do
good.
is to see like Lord of the Rings or like Harry Potter, that kind of like where they do the live show screening of it. I'd love to do something like that. So I definitely think there is a fairly accessible market in regards to like games and music and things. It's very, I don't know, it's very special. There's some OSTs that stick with a lot of people for a long time.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy X.
Is that yours?
Yep.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely Life is Strange. That soundtrack.
Yeah, I've got some all-timers on my Spotify. Near Automata is one of them as well. Yep, Outer Worlds is up there. The Ori, Will of the Wisp soundtrack, banging as well.
The Monster Hunter theme song lives rent-free in my head.
Yep, it's true.
The amount of times sometimes I'm just like doing like a meaningless task, or I'm just typing and I just start doing the Monster Hunter like theme tune is crazy. It's just always there. It's ingrained in my fucking brain.
Hunt Showdown.
Oh yeah, Hunt Showdown. I could do everything to that music.
Yeah, I've got loads of. I've got Hellblade 2 in here as well. I've got a Hi-Fi Rush one in here as well. I've got loads.
Yeah, Hi-Fi Rush had some really good ones. Yeah. Halo. Can't forget about Halo.
Yeah, the original. I really liked Infinite stuff as well. I think I have one of them in here. I've got Cyberpunk. Got Silk Song. Edith Finch. Kane, did you play for Edith Finch?
It's funny you should say that. I literally downloaded it like 2 or 3 days ago. It's
banging.
Yeah, that and Edith Finch and
soundtrack is an all-timer.
The other one. Edith Finch.
I haven't played Edith Finch.
I'm looking at it right now on my PC. I'm ready to play it. And
it's that connection again, dude.
Yeah. Look, we may as well just kiss.
Let's do it.
Let's kiss. Let's go.
All right, let's move on. Guys, this week we had the Halo developer 343i got killed officially. They officially got rebranded to Halo Studios. Alongside this, we got the announcement that they're moving off their proprietary engine Slipspace and onto Unreal Engine 5. And we also got the announcement that they are working on multiple projects. I spoke to Tim about this, Kane, so I know that we're reasonably on the same page. Kane, did you catch any wind of this at all?
I've seen bits and bobs, so I'm probably not as scrap as you both, but I'm aware of the transition. It's in regards to like limiting an entire company towards a single game. I think can have its benefits and its negatives. Obviously you've got everyone with the same creative talent and everything aiming towards one goal, but then you don't give them that wiggle room to be like, oh well, maybe what about this idea or that idea. But
which is what they were doing anyway, though.
Yeah,
it's just
if you've got everyone in the same boat and they're like, right, guys, we are the Halo guys, right?
Yeah.
You're not. So I get it. And if everyone's happy with that, then that's fine. In regards to the change in engine, I just think Unreal Engine 5 is a pretty fantastic engine. Like I've heard, like a lot of people are going onto it. Like a lot of studios are just going onto Unreal Engine 5 because when you employ new people, the chances are they have a bit more of a groundwork in regards to Unreal Engine. Whereas if they go to a new studio, they're working with a new engine, and then they're just like, I don't know what the fuck this means. It's a bit more. Whereas I think Unreal Engine is becoming the kind of baseline. So if you employ new people into your company to develop your game, and they've worked with Unreal Engine before, there's a smaller kind of transition period. And
was actually. Oh, sorry, not to cut you off. I was going to say that's actually an issue they had with Infinite, wasn't it? Like,
yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. You can't employ someone who used to work at this company or that company and bring him in and be like, right, I need you to create these assets or that asset or create this mechanic. It's because it's a new engine that they've not touched before. That's a very, very hard thing to do. Whereas I think because Unreal Engine 5 is a pretty impressive engine, a lot of people are aiming towards that, and then that immediately becomes a lot more transferable in regards to what skills and things like that.
Definitely, and it's like, it's not even just about like devs with other experience. It's like students learn on Unreal Engine. They learn on like the popular engines. They learn, so they're and we know that in combination with the Slipspace engine, which was like a Frankenstein version of the old Halo engine, Blam. It was just kind of that, but really, like taken apart and put back together. That and like Microsoft's reliance on contractors for 18 months meant like people were coming in onto a new engine, taking 6 months to a year to fully get to grips with it. And then by the time they had to leave. So the combination of those two things just made for such a hellish atmosphere, which is why even though the game came together well for launch, the service just fucked. Like it just
did not have the people to come in and
they couldn't get shit done quick enough. Exactly.
The engine fast enough.
Exactly. They just couldn't do it quick enough on an engine that was already hard to make. So we know that was a big problem. So, the story here was that they had a team internally testing the franchise's viability on UE5 for 2 years. So since 22, they've been going at it.
Okay.
And they ultimately decided, yeah, we can do this. And they showed off, it was at the Halo Championship Series.
Yeah, I saw that.
They showed off like some in-game or in-engine footage, I suppose. It looked like graphically, it looked wonderful, which is great, good. But I think the thing everybody is really worrying about is how's it going to feel? Halo has a very unique feel, doesn't it? Which is
you're totally right, actually.
Which is not to everyone's taste. However, the Halo fan base have very strict rules on what can and can't happen in a Halo game.
Oh yeah.
I mean, what do you guys think about this? The fact that's I think the only concern from this change is like, are you sure you can make this feel like
Halo? That's a really interesting point, because when you play one Call of Duty to another Call of Duty, it's just like you're pointing and shooting, you're bouncing around, it's fine. Whereas
it's always COD.
You're totally right, actually. I never really considered the actual feel of a Halo game. Like, it's so floaty and you're right, actually. I never really thought about that at all.
Yeah.
That's going to be tough to implement into something completely new.
I mean,
what do you think, Tim?
Yeah, I was going to say, funnily enough, I think it was the first thing I messaged you when you said they're moving to Unreal Engine 5. I was literally just like, I just don't want fucking Halo COD. I was just like, Halo has, a very unique feel, and I'm all up for it switching over to these more mainstream engines to develop it faster and better, but like, as long as it just doesn't lose its soul, because yeah, I don't know. Immediately, I wasn't a huge fan of it, but then, as I heard and read more about it, and the fact that they've been testing this internally for quite a while, it just goes to show that I think they have done that research. They have sat down and thought, we need to keep Halo to what Halo is, but move it into UE5, and it sounds like they're able to do that. But yeah, I just hope it doesn't just become like a generic kind of sci-fi shooter and just kind of lose its soul for what Halo is, because Halo in a way it's kind of goofy, it's kind of floaty, it's kind of goofy in the way it plays, but it's also it's very precise.
Like it has kind of a weight to it. Like the weight is quite in the game. So when you're floating, there's like it's quite hard to describe, isn't it? Yeah,
it's not real.
Momentum to the game.
Yeah, it's not real gravity. It's not like actual like and it just so we'll wait and see. You know, I was happy with the announcement and also worried at the same time, because I think it probably is the right move, in all honesty, because the way they did Infinite it just ended up they just shot themselves in the foot with it. So they either needed to double down and say, Slit Space is our engine and we're going to hire permanently for it, and this is the studio and we're going to do that. No more contractors. Everyone knows how to work that engine. Or they do the swap over to the more mainstream UE5 and think we can still do the contractor approach and have a lot of still permanent workers, all that sort of stuff. They obviously went with the latter, and I can't really say I'm upset about it. We'll just wait and see. But it'll be nice to see a Halo look super good as well, because I think Halo has some real graphical potential there. So which I don't think's ever been explored, with like imagine how like intimidating a fucking elite would look like up close in like UE5, like in like a first person, like it pins down Chief or something like that. They can make that shit look kind of scary. So yeah, I think there's a lot of potential there as well, and like the flood as well in really nice graphics could look very cool and intimidating. So yeah, it's exciting. I'd say that's the word I'd use to describe it. It's exciting.
Yeah. Well, if you look at some of the things they put out, you can probably find like the little clips of it. But like they did an engine thing of like what the Pacific Northwest would look like, which is what Halo Infinite looked like. Then they did a snowy biome, and then they did like an alien biome, which was like flood inspired. And they all looked amazing, which is great, because Infinite's art direction was really great, but the tech did struggle at times in the open world, and you could feel that. All the multiplayer maps looked fantastic because they were just small contained maps, but you could feel the tech struggling a bit in the open world at times, which really held it back from being in the upper echelon of graphically impressive games. So that is great, as you guys both say. It remains to be seen how it will play and how it will handle, but I think it's really important that we like the reason this has happened is because they essentially got rid of all the leadership at 343 after what happened with Infinite, and they brought on the guy who fixed Master Chief Collection is now at the helm. And
nice. I like that.
At this, which is really funny, Pierre Heinz he's called. He was announced to be the new head, and he hasn't said a word in 3 years, like since being the head of 343, now Halo Studios. And so he was there for the announcement of this, the change of engine, and he's like some really timid, uncharismatic guy. He was like really barely looking at the camera. And he was like making jokes about it. He was like, hopefully I don't have to speak to you guys again for another 3 years. But we're just going to sort of get on with it. And we've got a vision, and it's an exciting time for Halo and all of that. But the way he described it was, the way I see it, there's been 3 chapters of Halo. There was chapter 1 with Bungie, there was chapter 2 with 343, and now we're picking up on chapter 3 with Halo Studios. So it's not just a meaningless rebranding. All of the leadership got ripped out and replaced. And now they're changing engine to ensure they don't have the same problems that they had with Infinite. So
yeah, I think a lot of people were kind of not exhausted, but we're a bit like,
how can you keep making such a big mistake with every release?
They were a little bit done with Infinite.
Became
so
a bit of
with a new rebranding and a bit more kind of redirection.
Yeah,
a new Halo studio, in theory, it sounds like a good idea. I'm excited to see what they can do, especially in a new engine.
Yeah, it'll install new hope, won't it? And I think that's what a lot of Halo fans. Nice. And I think that's what a lot of Halo fans were kind of just missing. I think they were just negative right off the bat, right? Because they've just been burned so many times. And I think there'll still be an element of that, but I think this fresh start might, I don't know, maybe it may make Halo fans a little bit less toxic. I don't know. A miracle can happen. It's probably the most toxic fan base ever. But
yeah. The only other thing here was, as I mentioned at the top, they've said that they have multiple projects in development. Now, based on all the footage we showed, in my opinion, this was basically a soft confirmation that they're doing some sort of remake of Halo Combat Evolved. I don't know what they plan to do here because we've already had like a Halo Combat Evolved remaster.
yeah, why not do like 3 again, or like Reach or something? It's weird.
Yeah, I reckon it's because they're gonna go for a remake, like reimagining. If I had to guess, they're gonna like try and put their name on the brand by reimagining what they're doing with the formula. You know, because a lot of Halo Combat Evolved has really not aged well. You know, like the libraries, the infamously repetitive fucking Forerunner part where it's just the same tile set over and over again. And maybe they put in new mechanics. You know, I don't know what that could be, but maybe they do, and then that's how they show the world. This is kind of our new interpretation of what Halo's going to be, and then I don't know what the next mainline game looks like, but you know, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it isn't Halo Combat Evolved like remake, but it really seemed to me that that's what they were essentially saying, because they said all the assets we just showed today, that's in a game. The way we're using that in games, and it was a Combat Evolved chief. It was like all of the same designs from Combat Evolved.
I think it'd be quite ballsy to create a new Halo, like a Halo 6 on a new engine, a new team, and everything. I think the new Halo game would have to be a bit of a spin-off.
Oh, well, you mean? Well, I mean, they are going to be doing a Halo.
I mean, yeah, of course.
But yeah, first, yeah.
I think that could probably line up quite well with the next console, or maybe the next console announcement of 2026. You know, and it's probably doesn't come with a multiplayer mode. It's just the story, the reimagining, like I said, their interpretation of it, of what a new Halo would look like, and then whatever.
Oh,
they
really?
do
So you think they're actually going to what, like a spin-off of Halo, or
no? I just think they'll reimagine like the gameplay loop.
So
and
maybe Halo 6, or is it
maybe like destructible environments, you know, maybe.
Okay.
I think, yeah, they'll probably do a sequel to Halo Infinite, like story-wise. They're not going to retcon everything because they've got like books and merchandise, you know, around the current lore. So, but I just think that they will reinvent the gameplay systems a little bit. I don't know. You know, I don't know. I do not envy them because they're in such an impossible position. We know what the Halo fan base is like. Sprint is a huge issue to these people. So it's just, you know, I don't envy them, but I just think they need to just do their own thing. They just need to come together. Because if you think about all of 343's games, even though they all played really well, none of them are the same. Halo 4 to Halo 5, Halo 5 to Halo Infinite. None of them are the same.
They're vastly different.
Because they introduced one new mechanic, don't they? And they're like, oh, I don't know about that. Like Halo 5 was obviously jump packs, wasn't it? Or was it like booster?
Yeah.
And then they got rid of that for Halo Infinite, and then they did all. It's funny. It is interesting.
1 sec, just bear with me. I just need to hand something out for the baby.
Yeah, no worries.
He's got the fold.
But yeah, there's 2 of me now on the stream. But yeah, no, I kind of agree with Deck. I don't think they're going to do anything to properly shake up Combat Evolve, but I think they'll do enough to make it just feel fresh and new again. Like I don't think they're going to be. It would be interesting to see if they add sprint. I never had a problem with sprint. I think it's weird.
It's been in the last 2 Halo games. It's been in Halo 5 and Infinite. So
I think it was in 4 as well, wasn't it? I think it was in 4 as well.
4.
Not many people did.
Around for 4. It wouldn't surprise me if it was. Something that was a new.
Yeah. But yeah, and it'll also be interesting if they. I imagine they'll probably ship it with the multiplayer as well and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see how that multiplayer is going to feel. I wonder if they just do campaign or if they do like a slice of what multiplayer might feel like in UE5 as well.
They'll do both. I think the Halo multiplayer scene is too it's integral to Halo. I do think there's too much.
Mm.
The multiplayer scene of Halo is a big deal. Like it's not.
But
like
then
Gears of
Combat
War,
Evolved
where
never
it's
had a
bit niche.
multiplayer, did it? So
Yeah,
it's whether or not they do it just to be like,
I
yeah,
think
there's
the older games
multiplayer here
did
as
have
well.
that,
But
though, didn't they? But yeah,
It did have a multiplayer, didn't it?
don't
I
think
mean,
so.
yeah, it's the old Halo games. I thought it did.
I don't think Halo Combat Evolved had a multiplayer. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it didn't.
Yeah,
I don't think Halo 2 did, if I'm honest. I think
Yeah, Halo 2 definitely did. Halo 2's the one.
Oh
that
yeah,
took
no,
off.
yeah. Halo 2 definitely did. Yeah. No, I remember that. Yeah. Yeah. I think I don't know. Combat Evolved was a little bit before my time as a proper gamer. Obviously, I played it, but like I was never like, it wasn't.
I think it was
my,
just LAN parties because it was before like Xbox Live. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It wasn't my goat, but
there was an online multiplayer in that sense. Yeah.
it'd be interesting because you could have a potentially. I imagine that might have like a similar release line as like the Gears remake as well. So we might have like a Halo
how fascinating
remake
is that?
and a Gears remake. Yeah.
We could really have in the next 2 years the Gears prequel, a Halo Combat Evolved remake reimagining, a Fable reboot,
Yeah, talk about reboots.
and maybe even a Forza Horizon 6. That's going to come eventually, and it's not exactly a remake or whatever.
And
Maybe not
Banjo's just around the corner.
Doing a spend PS5 doing like remasters and remakes, whereas Xbox are doing like reimaginings, I suppose, aren't they? They're doing. Like...
I would say remakes probably are a bit different.
Yeah. They're doing reimagining. That's why I said reimagining. They're doing. Like,
Yeah.
But while we're on the topic of PS5, that's the other interesting question: is Halo Combat Evolved going to all platforms? That's the climate we're in.
Yes, I don't think for launch, but I think yes. I think it might be like an indie situation. I feel like it might just be like a few months after or something like that. But yeah.
What the hell happens then? Is there a mass like Xboxicide where everybody just like burns their Xboxes?
Mm-hmm. It will be a dangerous time to live in when Halo is not on Xbox only.
Dangerous.
Like lock your doors. Like
hide your
seriously.
kids, hide your wife.
Like it'll be a very, very dangerous time.
Yeah. So, I mean, is there any other closing thoughts there? Really, I suppose it's just quite. I think it's quite exciting for a lot of people because it's a bit of a reset button. There's multiple Halo projects for the first time. I think like since Bungie was making like ODST or whatever, which we're assuming is the Combat Evolved remake, which it seems to be. And I honestly, as I've said for a while now, I just think this team, whatever they're doing, go off, have your own idea for Halo, and just stick to your guns. Fuck them. Fuck them if they don't like sprint, or if you don't want to put sprint in, that's fine. If you want to piss me off, that's fine. Honestly, I'm well beyond the point of like crying because there's sprint or not sprint in a video game. Just go and get a vision and stick to it, and make Halo what you think the next era of Halo should look like. Just do it. There was too much flip flopping around with 343, and even though the execution was a problem at times, it was an issue that the vision was just never coherent over the whole trilogy.
Yeah, you can't please everyone. And the sooner you come to that realization, the better your product's going to be. Well, not necessarily better, but at least like you said, just the vision you wanted from start to finish will be just more coherent. It won't just be all over the place. So.
And I suppose that begs the question for me to ask you two. Like, I'm someone who I really liked Halo Infinite, and I've said I really liked the campaign as well. What would you guys want to see from the Combat Evolved remake, or I guess more broadly, what would you like to see from an evolution of Halo's gameplay from that standpoint that would make you interested again, or maybe even the story? Like, what would get you interested in the campaign? Because neither of you finished the campaign, did you?
For what? Oh, for Infinite? No,
for Halo Infinite.
No. Yeah, I have to confess, I never finished the game.
Yeah, I didn't.
Again, I'm not a huge Halo fan. Like, I obviously enjoy the games, but I was never brought up on like Halo 2, Halo 3. I was kind of wasn't part of that kind of huge popularity burst of it. So the only real experience of Halo that I had like where I actually committed to it was Halo 5. And I know that a lot of people don't like Halo 5. Yeah, exactly. I know.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, exactly. That was my biggest.
Halo 5 was great.
No,
was great. It just wasn't a good Halo game.
No, the multiplayer was fine. I thought the campaign was kind of dog shit. The campaign was dog shit.
I actually don't know Halo lore. I don't know. I've not played Halo.
Let me tell you about Spartan Lock, Aiden.
I played Halo 3, but I was too young to really know what the hell was going on. I played Halo 4. I played Halo Reach. But like I don't know the lore of the game, so like I think for me, I need a brain dead line. I need to be like, right, here's a mission. You go save Cortana in the castle, and I'm like,
you
cool,
need
I can
a
do
Halo
that.
Combat Evolved remake. That's what you need.
I could do. I could do that
because they literally are just level select, aren't they? Like,
yeah,
back then.
And I think maybe Halo Infinite was a bit too. In my opinion, it was open world for no reason. Like, if you think of a game like Red Dead, like it needs a world to like to confirm the kind of seriousness of each mission. Whereas Halo, I think, is like you're this super soldier. You have to go out and do this mission. You're not just like, all right, go and do what the fuck you want for a bit, but just remember you've got this really important mission to do. I think it doesn't quite.
They kind of just did it to check that box, didn't they? Use that buzzword.
Yeah, they were like, right, Halo but open world, and they were like, right, okay, well, in the context of a Master Chief who's out saving the galaxy, whatever the fuck, you'd think he would have a bit of urgency and be like, right, this is my mission, I need to do this. I don't know if that's maybe a bit literal, but that's kind of, I don't know. Maybe that's kind of
But you weren't the only one who didn't like, the open world approach.
Yeah.
It worked for me because it was kind of the whole thing was like, playing on the whole ring and you're like reclaiming the ring from the Banish. I really liked it, but I can understand why it wasn't for everyone, particularly people who like the blockbusteriness of traditional Halo games, who like that mission and there are these big, set pieces, and then you have these fights against, sick music, and there are these big sequences with vehicles. You don't quite get that as much in the open world. So I can understand it. I get it.
Yeah, I think if I was to be into Halo, that's what it would be for me.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I wasn't involved in that. I don't know how involved Tim was in regards to Halo's kind of.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of popped off around like Halo 3. Like I played a decent amount of Halo 3. But no, I did Combat Evolved a little bit on my shared family PC. And stuff like that. But no, didn't play Halo 2. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. But yeah, in terms of what they can do to grab me again, I mean, I don't think they. I'm in. I am a Halo fan, so I'm always going to be in. I don't think they need to do anything necessarily to pull me back in. I really liked Infinite as well. I thought Infinite's multiplayer was flipping fantastic. Didn't get into the campaign. I don't think that was the campaign's fault. I just think back then I never completed games and I couldn't be bothered. So I think if I were to go back now and actually play it, I think I'd probably quite enjoy it. But yeah, never actually completed it. So, but I feel like they could
launch with co-op either, right?
Yeah, that didn't help. Yeah, I feel like if it launched with co-op. No, I think it does have co-op now.
Right?
I think
it's got co-op now.
Yeah, okay, right. But it took them a while and they delayed the shit out of it. But yeah, I mean, for Combat Evolved, I feel like they could definitely make it a lot more cinematic. I really think there's no harm in keeping it on rails and making it a single player experience. I feel like you could, with the UE5 graphics and stuff like that, I feel like you could make it a lot more intense and you could add a lot more of these like cutscene moments where Chief has some like hand-to-hand combat with like an elite and it's like super tense and all that kind of shit. I feel like you can make it feel a lot cooler. I feel like they could inject a lot more coolness into it, and I feel like that's probably enough for me. Yeah,
and I guess that's great. So good story beats some solid combat, make it look better. Yeah, all those things will definitely help. I suppose what I'm really looking forward to like close this bit out from me is like I'm looking for some part of the gameplay loop to evolve. Like that thing that people always say about Halo is, like the
Give him a
30
grapple hook.
seconds. 30 seconds of fun. Give him a grapple hook. Yeah, but because this is the thing, like the gunplay in Halo Infinite was bar none. Like it's top of the industry. It still is. It feels so good to move and shoot around in that game. Even in the campaign, the combat encounters are so good. It's the sort of thing where you shoot an elite in the leg and it like wobbles to the side that you've shot in the leg. You shoot his arm and armor falls off. It's so reactive. So it just feels so amazing to just pick up a gun and shoot it. And that's great, but I want something else on top of that. And I would almost go for something like I said, like whether it's destructible environments to really change that around, or maybe even like some like immersive siminess that we got like a taste of in Infinite with like the fusion coils that you could throw, but like ramp that up to 10, like what we started seeing with like with the Perfect Dark reveal last year, like like they do with Dishonored, where there's all this stuff in the environment that Chief can use. You can shoot the sand on the floor and that will spray up and that will make that will like make the elites look away, or you can shoot the things on the throw a grenade or sticky at the mountain and rocks will fall down, just all sorts of stuff. Shoot a tree and it will fall. I think there's a lot of scope there to make it really interesting. I want to see another layer of it. I hope what they really don't do is just settle for it's Halo Combat Evolved. I want them to go for another layer of something else, to like really show us what new Halo can be. I'm sure it would be perfectly good if they just went for Combat Evolved and it would look very pretty, but I don't think it would take Halo to the next level like that I kind of would like it to. I'm ready for it to kind of evolve now, I suppose, is what I'm saying.
Ready for combat to evolve.
Hey.
Nice, man.
Hey.
Proud of you.
I'm ready for it to get refanted. Yep. There's just, there's not. I don't really want to spend too long on this, but we basically did get a confirmation that a Halo Battle Royale was in development. It's now been cancelled. It was on a former dev's LinkedIn. Presumably, it was on the Slipspace engine that they're now not using. They believed that dev believed it could have been a game changer. Yeah, not much else to add there, really. It's just maybe it comes to fruition one day. But I'm not really sure there's much of a market for new battle royales now anymore. Anyway,
no, missed its beat, I think.
Well, because it did claim to have a battle royale, and then it didn't back it up for like 8 months, 10 months. Is that right? It's still not in it, right?
Oh,
no,
there's no
there was never
royale.
A battle royale announced for Halo Infinite.
It was rumored that it was working on it. It was
yeah.
that Tatanka, wasn't it?
Tachanka, yeah.
Tachanka, let's go.
But
it never actually, it never came out. But this is basically what Deck's talking about. Is it confirmed it was in development, but it's now gone, axed. Which I was kind of excited for the Battle Royale, I'm going to be honest. We talked about it in the past. I was quite excited, but I feel like at this point, I don't mind that it got killed off. Sucks that a lot of people's work and stuff like that gets canned, but I just feel like it just missed its beat. It needed to. They needed to be quicker with it, so it'd just be pointless to release something like that. So
exactly, and if the engine was really slowing them down that much, they wouldn't be able to put out consistent content for it. Then it's like, what's the point? You need quick content with a service game. So yeah. Again, like we've only really spoken about single player Halo, but whatever the future is for multiplayer Halo, that's like a whole nother kettle of fish, which I'm not going to get into now. I'm sure there'll be plenty of discussions to have on that in the future. So we've just got 2 stories left. The second one I'm just very going to quickly skim over, and then the third one we'll just end on Stalker 2 previews. So what we found, Kay didn't mention this earlier, but we are finally getting owned games playable on Xcloud. So for those that don't follow, if you have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, you can play on Xcloud. You can get the app. If you're on Android, you can go on the web, on your laptop or on your iPhone, and you can play anything on Game Pass on your phone or whatever through cloud. You haven't been able to play games that you owned. So you could have bought something on the store that's not on Game Pass and you would not have been able to play that on Xcloud. Really annoying. Finally, we're getting that. in November, we're getting the ability to play our own games in on cloud, which is perfect for Metaphor, Fantasio.
Yeah.
And the only little wrinkle there is that it's a gradual rollout of games.
Yeah, I wanted to jump in at some stage saying that
Go ahead.
it's not every single game that you own. Only some games are going through what's called an Xbox Play Anywhere. Is that what there's an Xbox?
I don't know if how they label it. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it has a title in regards to where you can play it wherever you want. So there's games on the Xbox platform that you can buy, you can purchase, and you can play on PC. You can play on other devices as an actual local file, as a local game that you own. You've been able to, like you mentioned, you've been able to stream all Xbox games within the Xbox Game Pass for quite a while now. But they're now gradually going through the Xbox library and making it so that you can play your Xbox library in other places. And it's quite funny because now that I've obviously quite recently transitioned to PC, it's like a library that's constantly being updated. So it's quite nice to like look through my library and be like, oh, this is a game now that I can play on my PC, or things like that. So it's gradually improving. They're going through it.
So that sounds like it's also the Play Anywhere thing, where it's playable on PC too. You gotta get it's cross play, isn't it, as well, where you get the save on both Xbox and PC. For one
mainly
for one purchase. So it's good. We're getting a little buff for Xcloud, which is great. Xbox buff. Great. So we'll come around to our final story then, which is around Stalker 2. Finally coming out this November, and the press got some hands-on previews for it as well. For those that don't know, Stalker 2 is kind of a sequel to a kind of a cult classic game called Stalker. And Stalker is about a kind of an alternate timeline where by a Ukrainian game developer, where after the events of Chernobyl, like rifts in reality started opening up, and all sorts of monsters and minerals and materials started coming through those anomalies. And so the military put forward a task force to go into Chernobyl and get those resources out, clean it up, et cetera, et cetera. It kind of developed a cult classic status. The first one released in 2007. I think they did a DLC for it in 2009. So now the sequel is coming out 15 years later, and it's only coming out on Xbox and PC. To note, all the previews are insanely positive.
Shocking.
Which is really surprising.
Because on our little fantasy critic, I'm pretty confident that I counterpicked it. I remember I saw a lot of previews.
I don't blame you.
I saw a lot of previews. Maybe beginning of this year,
which were awful
for its release, and I don't think many of them were positive at all. But I love the concept of the game, right? I love Metro. I do obviously love FPS. I love the idea of kind of paranormal,
like a survival shooter.
I like that idea. I love it. It's really interesting. So it's a game I wanted to succeed, obviously, with the Ukrainian development team and things like that. I wanted to do well, but I didn't think it would. So it's interesting to see these previews come in so positively.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's not a like I wanted it to do well. Do you know what I mean? But from evidence that I had. I didn't think it would.
Absolutely, and you can't help but feel that the team must be feeling, such a sigh of relief, or so happy that these reviews are coming in positive after the time that they've been going through with their country under attack and everything. These horrific development conditions they've had to go under this whole time, which we know because the game has been delayed for understandable reasons.
How many times? 4 delays. 4 delays.
Yeah,
official delays.
Something like that. Yeah.
I think it got revealed like in 2019 or 2020 for like a release quite soon, and it's just been delayed for understandable reasons. But I'm really happy for them that it seems like it's really come together. And just to run a couple of quotes off for our audio listeners, Windows Central says, "If the full game comes anywhere near to what I experienced in my brief time with it, it will make Stalker 2: Heart of Chernobyl a clear Game of the Year contender." IGN says 2 hours isn't enough time to see all the branching stories, admire all the beautiful graphics, and discover all the secrets within the world of Stalker 2, but it is enough to be left impressed. VGC says Stalker 2 feels like a winning return for the franchise. So a lot of positive sentiment there. I even read, I think it was IGN's preview, compare it to like a Fallout game. In the sense of kind of how branching dialogue and discovery and exploration, but kind of a spooky overtone, really, I guess, and almost existential dread laid over the top of all of that. So this has suddenly crept up my most anticipated list. This is day one Game Pass. This is releasing in November, and actually, just in general, the Game Pass lineup is really quite strong for the rest of the year now, isn't it? I think we've got, depending on who you are, I think there's something for everyone, really, I guess. There's COD, and then there's Flight Sim, and then there's Stalker, and then there's Indie, and then just at the beginning of the year, we've got Avowed in 2025. So, solid few months there. Any thoughts from you, Tim?
No, not really. Not that we haven't already touched. So the fact that I'm just quite shocked that it's genuinely that it's so positive, because the last time we heard of this game, it was pretty negative, and I think the last time we even spoke about it, we said it was going to be a sort of push it out the door situation, right? They're not really fussed when it releases. They're not really going to market it. I still think they're probably not really going to market it, but yeah, it just seems like a complete 180, and yeah, I couldn't be happier for him. It's something I've had my eye on for a while, and now seeing the positivity around it, yeah, it makes me quite excited to play it. I quite enjoyed like Metro Exodus and stuff like that, which I feel like will have a similar vibe to this. And yeah, I feel like it could be a good time. So yeah, I'm quite excited for it now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a game I've always been excited for, but it's a game I've always been
skeptical.
Yeah, skeptical. That's the word. Thank you. Like, it's a game I want to do well. Like, I obviously want nothing but good things for that development team. They've obviously got a really nice vision and a really nice idea of a game, but with their restrictions in regards to what they can and can't do, and delays and fucking war, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's no denying that. So, but yeah, I'm really glad to see that it's doing well. It's definitely down my alley of games I want to do well and interested in, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It seems to be one of those games that's really come together in the final stretch of development, which we know happens all the time.
Yeah, maybe even these delays have done the game well. Like, maybe half of these delays have been like they've not had a choice to delay it for obviously obvious reasons, and that's allowed them to kind of put the game together more so than what people thought that it was. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've had time to polish it. Yeah.
I think these delays have helped it out a lot. Because imagine if it were released 2 years ago and it would just been remember that there was quite a lot of gameplay that released for the game not too long ago, maybe a year or two ago, and people were just like pretty mid about the game. Not even mid, people were just pretty disappointed. But yeah, it seems they've used that time frame very well and tidied it up.
Yeah. Good. So happy for them. Excited for that. How excited to hear more about it and how it actually pans out by the end of it. But that kind of brings us towards the end of our news and everything today, dear listeners. So we will bid you adieu, and maybe we'll see you next week. Tim, are you in the country next week?
No.